Hey, everybody, and thank you for joining me. My name is Mike Roberts, and welcome to this snippet from the Song of Solomon. Now, this is our sixth snippet, and if you haven't watched the first five, I want to encourage you to press pause on this one here and go back and watch those. These can all pretty well stand alone, but I believe to get the maximum benefit of the message we're trying to convey, I think it's important and helpful to watch them in order. So I want to encourage you to go back and watch the first five if you haven't seen those already. And today, with number 6, we're going to pick up in Song of Solomon chapter 1, starting at verse 4. We've already covered the first 3 verses, and I'm going to review those quickly. And one thing we're going to see is so far in our story, Solomon has not spoken. Everything has been either kind of the narrator or else the Shulamite maid talking. And you may remember from the previous snippets that in the way that we are interpreting this song is Solomon represents Jesus. He's a type of Jesus in this story. And there's a Shulamite maid who becomes the bride of Jesus, and she represents you and me. So far, most of what we've heard has come from her. So it's been you and I speaking so far. And today, for the first time, we're actually going to not hear from Solomon, but he's going to do something we're going to get to see and read about in this story. And again, this is a song, but it's more like a drama. And the two main players in this drama that we're talking about are Solomon and the Shulamite maid. And today, a group of maidens join the cast as well. So let's pick up in the Song of Solomon chapter 1 and verse 4. So the Shulamite maid is talking, which again represents you and me. And this is what she says. She's talking to Solomon. And she says, "Draw me after you, and let us run together. The king has brought me into his chambers." And then the maidens speak up and they say, "We will rejoice in you and be glad. We will extol your love more than wine." And the Shulamite maid finishes the verse. She says, "Rightly do they love you." Again, speaking to Solomon. So as this verse picks up, we see that she's in a hurry. She's telling Solomon, "Draw me. Let's go. Lead the way. I'm going to follow behind you. Let us run together." She's in a hurry to get where they're going. And we can see why. The king, again, we're seeing Solomon do something here for the first time. He is taking her into his chambers. Now, his chambers would have been the most intimate place he could ever take anybody. And I talked about how it's very important as we interpret the Song of Solomon to keep in mind that some things are singular and some things are plural. Well, there's only one Solomon, only one Shulamite maid, but there are a lot of maidens. And so Solomon, by choosing to take the Shulamite maid into his chambers, he was singling her out from all of the maidens. So he was saying, the relationship I'm going to have with you is different from what I'm having with this group of maidens. And so she was becoming his bride. Solomon, being a type of Jesus, would never have taken her into his personal chambers if they weren't married. So she was his bride. She has become his bride. Now she's going with him into the most intimate place that he could ever take her, which is his personal chambers. And she is in there. She said, "The king has brought me into his chambers." And then the maidens chime in. Perhaps they're leaving the chambers and the maidens are there in the castle and they say, "We will rejoice in you and be glad, and we will extol your love more than wine." And then something really special happens. The Shulamite maid, which again represents us, she says to Solomon, "Rightly do they love you." So she's saying from experience, I can see why they love you. All these maidens love you because you're so wonderful. And she wasn't saying that from theory. She was saying that from experience. She had just been with him in the most intimate place he could ever take her. So the first 4 verses, we see the Shulamite maid talking about how wonderful Solomon is, wanting to be kissed by him with the kisses of his mouth, smelling his fragrant oils and talking about his name being like purified oil. And she says, "No wonder the maidens love you." Then she says, "Draw me after you. Let's hurry. Lead the way, and I'm going to run with you to your chambers," where she encounters him at a whole different level. And again, he singles her out as the one that he loves and is going to be intimate with in that way and nobody else. And so the maiden said, "We will love you also. And she says, I understand why so many folks love you, but I know from experience how wonderful you are.